Some weeks on Coronation Street pull you in from the very first scene, and the week of 8 to 12 September is exactly that. A shocking crash changes everything, secrets refuse to stay hidden, and families are tested in ways they never expected. We've got 10 big spoilers to talk through, from Betsy's explosive 18th birthday, to Kevin laying down the law, Carl dragging Dylan further into trouble, and David stumbling across a pregnancy test that could shake his household to its core. So settle in. Here are all 10 Coronation Street spoilers for 8 to 12 of September, and if you love keeping up with the latest drama, don't forget to hit subscribe to Episode Whisper so you're always first to hear what's coming next on the cobbles. 1. Betsy tries to prove she's all grown up. We start with Betsy and it's a big milestone for her. She's turning 18. Now, fans will remember Betsy's had her fair share of clashes with Lisa lately. That mother-daughter tension has been bubbling away, and next week it all comes to a head. She comes home after being out all night, and while everyone tries to make it a nice birthday celebration, with a toast to win late Mum Becky, Betsy isn't in the mood to be treated like a little girl. She storms off again, insisting she's old enough to live her life her own way. And then comes the bombshell. She tells Lisa she slept with Dylan. That's a moment that will send shockwaves, especially when you think about Dylan's recent choices. This is Betsy's way of proving she's not a kid anymore. But is she really ready for the adult consequences that come with it? That's the question fans are already asking. 2. Kevin returns home to a shock while Betsy's causing drama at home. Kevin's back from Mallorca with AB, Jack, and Alfie. You'd think it would be a nice return, but no, he immediately spots Carl hanging around the garage. Now, Kevin's never exactly been Carl's biggest fan, and seeing him there is enough to set him off. He lays it on thick, warning Carl that he needs to stay well away from the business. Kevin isn't one for polite chats when his family or garage are at risk, so he makes it clear. Carl has until the end of the day to get out. The tension between these two could be explosive. Kevin's always protective of AB too, so this sets up plenty of trouble going forward. Carl gives Brody and Dylan another job. Here's where things take a darker turn. Carl's under pressure. Tracy's got him backed into a corner with her blackmail demands, and he doesn't have the cash. So, what does he do? He ropes Dylan and Brody back in for another job with a stolen car. The problem is, things don't go smoothly. George, who's always keeping an eye out, spots Dylan behind the wheel. That's not good news. Dylan's been desperate to live himself lately, but he's picking the worst possible path. And if George saw enough to be sure, Dylan might not wriggle out of this one so easily. 4. Betsy gets a nasty shock. Poor Betsy doesn't get much of a breather this week. After her argument with Lisa and her big reveal about Dylan, she heads out and starts leaving messages for both of them. She's distracted, she's emotional, and then it happens: a stolen car hits something right in front of her. She screams, and it's clear something awful has just gone down. This is the crash that's going to dominate the week. Someone's seriously injured, and Betsy's right at the center of it. The cobbles have seen plenty of accidents over the years, but this one feels different. It drags so many characters into its fallout. 5. Kit starts to investigate with the crash rocking Weatherfield. The police aren't wasting time. The car's found, and Kit confirms what we all suspected: someone torched it to cover their tracks. Now, Kit's sharp. He's not one to miss details. And the question becomes who was cunning enough to set the car alight. Fans will remember that Kit's not afraid of following a lead all the way to the bitter end. So if Carl, Dylan, or Brody think they can hide behind a cover-up, they might be in for a nasty surprise. This could be the start of a long investigation that pulls in half the street. 6. George confronts Dylan. George isn't about to stay quiet either. He calling him straight that he saw him behind the wheel. Dylan tries to brazen it out, insisting George must be mistaken. But George isn't the type to back down once he's certain of something. This could really shake things up, because if George presses it further, Dylan's whole world could come crashing down. And it puts Carl in an even more dangerous position too. Remember, Dylan's been on a slippery slope for months now. Fans will be split on whether he deserves sympathy or a wake-up call. But it's safe to say this storyline is about to put him in the spotlight. 7. Carl confesses all to Abby. If you thought Carl was keeping his double life quiet, think again. Abby spots Dylan's name pop up on his phone, and it immediately rings alarm bells. When she questions him, Carl caves and admits the truth. He's been using Dylan and Brody to steal cars. Now this is a massive moment. Abby's history with dodgy schemes is well documented, but she's worked hard to put that behind her. The idea of her secret lover dragging kids into this kind of mess won't sit right with her. This could be the end of whatever fragile relationship they were trying to build back up. And with Kevin already breathing down Carl's neck, Abby's reaction is going to be key. If you're still watching and following all this drama, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss a single spoiler when the chaos continues in Weatherfield. Lily's behavior arouses concern. Lily kicking up a fuss about stomach aches might not sound like much on the surface, but with the Platt family nothing ever stays simple for long. David brushes it off straight away, convinced she's just trying to bunk off school because of an argument with a mate over a boy. A classic David, really. He's quick to think it's just teenage drama and doesn't stop to consider there might be more to it. You can almost picture him rolling his eyes while packing off to class. But Sarah's reaction is completely different. She can't shake the feeling that something else might be bubbling underneath. And she's not wrong to wonder, is she? We've seen Lily change a lot over the past year. She's not the little kid in around in the background anymore. Viewers will know the writers don't give her screen time for nothing. So there's definitely a reason this storyline is picking up pace now. It's be growing pains, but equally, it could be the start of something bigger. And if it is something bigger, then David's going to be kicking himself for not spotting the sign sooner. That's what makes this so tense. Parents watching at home will know that feeling of not wanting to believe your child might be hiding something important. It puts David in such a tough spot too, because while he thinks he's being the strict dad, he could actually be pushing Lily further away. This could really stir up more family drama, and I reckon viewers will definitely have plenty to say about whether David's handling it all wrong. 9. David finds a pregnancy test. David finding that pregnancy test is exactly sort of twist that gets everyone talking. At first it's just him grumbling about the Connor, Swain's chucking their rubbish in his bin again, which is typical David, isn't it? But then he spots the test, and suddenly it's not a petty neighborly gripe anymore. It's a full-blown mystery. You can almost feel his smugness as he rushes off to tell Sarah he reckons it's Betsy's, as though he's solved some huge case. But Sarah throws him completely when she says it could actually be Lily's. That wipes the grin off his face straight away. It's one thing to gossip about Betsy, who's turning 18 and making her own choices, but the idea of his own daughter being involved in something like that is a different level altogether. For all his faults, David's always been a fiercely protective dad, and this possibility shakes him right to the core. And that's where the tension really lies. Because if David's wrong, he's going to look like a fool for jumping to conclusions. But if Sarah's even close to being right, then the Platts are about to face a storyline that could be massive. Fans will definitely have strong opinions on this one, especially as Lily's only just started to come into her own on screen. Either way, the fallout from one little test is going to ripple right through the family. David discovers the truth about the test by the end of the week. The truth finally comes out. The real owner of the test steps forward, putting an end to the mystery. But the question is, will it stay quiet, or will it spark an even bigger storyline? Coronation Street has a way of planting seeds like this that grow into massive plots months later. Whatever happens, this reveal is going to leave David and Sarah looking at each other in shock. So that's what we've got for next week. Betsy's birthday drama, Cole pulling Dylan deeper into crime, a crash that leaves someone fighting for their life, and David stumbling into a mystery he never expected. It's one of those weeks when nearly every family on the cobbles feels the impact. Bottom line, if you thought September might be a quiet month, think again. The street's about to be turned upside down. If you enjoyed chatting the spoilers with me, make sure you like this video, drop a comment with your own predictions, and subscribe so you're ready for next week's drama.